Sorry, officer, quick interruption. Do you mind if we record you talk?
Sure.
This meeting? All right.
I got nothing to hide.
Okay.
We'll share everything together.
All right.
I'm going to record too, all right?
All right.
I don't need to record.
Okay.
Excuse me, officer.
Sure.
Just a point of clarification. This isn't with Occupy Boston.
Yep.
This isn't officially with Occupy Boston, Students Occupy Boston, or BU Occupies Boston. This is hosted by a BU group, Democracy Matters.
Okay.
So
great.
Right.
Well, let's open it up for question and answers. Hopefully I can clarify some things, explain some of our points of view, what the police's role is. And let's go. Let's get to the crux of it. What do you got, buddy?
Hi. I heard a rumor that there was a private security force on Monday that was arresting people. Is this true?
No, it's not true. What's going on down at Occupy Boston? We've all been reading the paper. A lot of people are using their constitutional right to get out of that park. They don't have a permit to be there. The Rose Kennedy Greenway owns that whole area of the park. I don't know if any of you guys are from the Boston area, but years ago that used to be a highway. It used to be an elevated highway. And so it's a conservatory that runs it, the Rose Kennedy Greenway. At Dewey Square, it's half concrete and the other half is grass. And we have a lot of farmers markets down there. People get permits to have events down there. Right now there's a farmers market on a small portion of it right now. Occupy Boston, the group, we'll just call it Occupy Boston because it's a democratic group. They all vote on what they want to do, where they want to go, what they want to protest. And actually, everybody down there has different perspectives and different views. I think the common theme is like they're against corporate greed. That's what we're hearing a lot. And a lot of people are against the wars, people against the bailouts for the banks, et cetera, et cetera. So the mayor, his policy has allowed people to stay down there, camp down there as long as they were reasonable. And we allow that too because the Conservancy that runs the Greenway manages it, puts down new sod, mows the grass, seeds all the flowers, plants all the flowers, etc. They allow the group to stay down there. So that's why they're allowed to stay there as well. The other day, when the group went onto the Rose Kennedy Greenway, which we asked them, and we negotiate, we talk to everybody. Our job as the police department, we're really strong into community policing. We police the city of Boston. I don't know if you guys are familiar. You guys, a lot are from out of town, kids? Where's everyone from, real quick? Where are you from? Where?
Connecticut.
Connecticut?
Montana.
Where?
Atlanta.
Montana.
Framingham. Kansas. Syracuse.
Texas.
All right, so you guys are from all over. Boston's a city of all neighborhoods, and we police each neighborhood a little differently. Community policing based on what the neighborhood group wants. Downtown's a little different than, say, East Boston. East Boston's different than West Roxbury. West Roxbury's different than South Boston, different than Roxbury. Different community groups have different concerns. Some may be violent crime, some may be you guys. Like that, college kids drinking and partying. How do you like that? A lot of smiles here. Stuff like that, but it's quality of life issues or maybe serious crime, drug dealing, stuff like that. So we operate under a community policing philosophy. We police how our neighborhood groups and our community wants us to. Of course, we have a basic formula of policing, answering the 911 calls when people have an emergency. But we believe in a lot of our officers talking to people, walking on mountain bike, a lot of community meetings, a lot of community interaction, so we can address problems, identify problems when they arise to fix them so they don't come back again. So, did I get a question?
My question is actually two parts. Can you recap from your point of view, or like the police department's point of view, what exactly happened on Monday night?
Monday night, in a nutshell, there was a march earlier. And a lot of these marches that happened, I just came from a march. We marched about 350 union workers and people from Occupy Boston all through downtown. And they stopped at the Verizon store chanting against union stuff because the Verizon had a huge issue with their organized labor. There was some contentious negotiations. They just kind of settled the contract, not amicably, and I'm not even sure if it's really settled. So there's still some hard feelings. So they went by the Verizon wireless store, chanted, anti-slogans against Verizon, etc. Marches happen all the time. They're not permitted. We like to get marches permitted, but sometimes if people don't, our role is public safety. We'll get out. We just want to say to people, if you're going to not stay on the sidewalk, if there's such a mass group, we'll put motorcycle officers or officers on mountain bikes or police cars ahead so no one gets hurt. Public safety. So someone doesn't drive down the street, run into them. They don't get, a car doesn't get stuck in the middle of them and the words may be exchanged, stuff like that. So some of those, no, a lot of them are permitted. One just happened now, wasn't. Another one, just an ad hoc one, of a group about 75, just started marching up. And I'm not even sure what's on my radar, I just shut it up, but there may have been a few arrests involved. There was?
There were.
So you got it on your Twitter account. Tell me what happened.
No,
From perspective from the tweet I was on. Come on, there's information sharing.
Yeah, no, a friend just called and my friend was arrested.
Yeah, so that happens. I wonder why they were arrested. Maybe they tried to damage the property, or maybe they were trespassing, et cetera, et cetera. So to get back to your point on Monday night, from our perspective, and you probably have your own perspective, and I'd like to hear that too, if you're sure. That's the whole give and take about this, because we want to know how we can do things better. And so basically there was a march, and some union people got involved with it, and they wanted to just shut down the North Washington Street Bridge. Well, we blocked them from doing it. We asked them not to do that. We can't. It's public safety. The Bruins game is just getting out. We have a role. A lot of people like to put us in the middle. Like, what do you feel about this? What do you feel about that? We can't have it. We try to stay out of that because we have to be objective. We have to protect people's rights from march. We have to protect other people's rights to walk down the street unencumbered or bothered or any fights from happening. It's America. Everyone's got their own point of view. We just want to stay out of that point of view. We have to have our own. Our perspective is public safety. So that happened Monday. Then, per agreement with the whole Occupy Boston group, and Occupy Boston group works as a democracy. They have town meetings, and during their town meetings, they vote on whether to do certain things. The group voted not to go into that part of the Greenway, and some people of the group violated the collective will of the whole group. So basically, they went and picked up 20 tents and went onto that part of the Rose Kennedy Greenway. You're shaking your head.
Yeah,
You agree or disagree?
That's factually incorrect.
What's that?
That's incorrect.
Well, you're asking me my perspective.
Okay, I was just bringing that up because I was part of those meetings.
Okay, so you would tell me your perspective.
We collectively decided that we would be on that one.
Okay, so
Yeah.
collectively 90%, I was told it wasn't a full 90%, or it wasn't even 55%. Some just said they wanted to go there. And the Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy, right, who gave you guys the ability to be Occupy Boston, said please don't go there. We just invested $150,000 worth of shrubbery, maintenance on the park, and it was agreed upon not to go there.
I thought that they gave.
They never gave permission.
I have a question on detail.
So do you want me to finish the story? So I don't want to argue with you guys. I'm just trying to get perspectives, and we can talk. And we can, you're not going to agree with everything I'm saying, and I'm not going to agree with everything you're saying because it's what you see, a point in time, your little perspective or glimpse of information you may have. I'm telling you from our point of view. So we asked people not to get on there. I'm not going to argue with you.
It's okay. I just said you opened it up. So
Okay. Well, I thought you were shaking your head. I want to just clarify that. So.
Okay.
We asked the group not to get on there. I was actually, do you remember seeing me that night down in the middle of the park talking to people?
No.
Well, I was down there. How could you not miss this handsome face? How could you not miss this handsome face? So we were down there. Honestly, we had a dialogue. We leafleted people in the park. Please, you have to be out of here by 11 o'clock. The city ordinance, the people don't want you down here. You're trespassing after 11 o'clock. We said repeatedly, asked people continuously. It was a decision made all the way up to the top of the food chain, all the way up to City Hall. Asked people not to be there. A group decided to stay there, so we had to forcefully remove them and placed 141 people under arrest. That's in a nutshell. Now,
And then, so I had that was a two-part question. The second part was, there were some, from the meeting has had some stories come out where there was somewhat police brutality.
he was a little out of the wheel.
There were some stories came out about police brutality.
Yep.
And I was wondering, how exactly is that allowed?
Well, those are stories, right? And if you know anybody that was brutalized, allegedly, right? They should go to Internal Affairs at Boston Police Headquarters and file complaints against the officers they think were responsible. And there was more video cameras out that night from everybody with their iPhone, their BlackBerry, to more media. I'm sure they would have captured that. We all agree? We would have probably saw it on YouTube, Twitter.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
There are videos. Yeah.
Well,
You don't
your
know what you're
interpretation,
talking
I don't want to argue about what we believe is police brutality, because your opinion of someone grabbing someone and placing them in handcuffs may be, oh, that's police brutality. In our perspective, police procedures, it's not. So we can debate that all night long, but I really don't want to.
Can I say there was on Tuesday night a gentleman at the General Assembly who was with Veterans for Peace who was struck in the hand and had his hand lacerated by one of your bolt cutters. So.
Oh, there was one man, yes, he was placed in handcuffs. That's not brutality, though.
Oh, sure.
We're cutting, honestly, when you're cutting a handcuffs off and you have scissors and it nicked them when they're doing it, again, perspective. I don't agree with you. You don't agree with me. We're entitled to those opinions. That's a police point of view. That's your point of view.
I also happen to be right. So.
Well, I think I'm absolutely right too. So we're at a standstill. Go ahead, there's a million questions, so I'll just go over here real quick, we'll work our way around.
I'm just curious to know how what happened Monday night overlaps with the public safety role that you expressed earlier as being something that the police department is in charge of covering for these unpermitted actions. How does what happened Monday night have anything to do with public safety, just out of curiosity?
Well, it's probably the mayor's and the policy point of view, that they didn't want people on that greenway. We negotiated like I'm here talking to everybody. We talk to everybody all the time. We explain the rules are in place. We gave you this amount to be in Dewey Square, but please don't go into that part. And it was agreed upon, people would. So people, in our opinion, broke their promise. We won't go into that. That's, it's a place we don't want people to go. Like I said, a lot of money has been invested in that. It's to beautify our parks. I'm born and raised in the city. I love this city. I'm proud of that park too. I want to keep it pristine. People weren't supposed to go in. It was a collective decision made from our commissioner on up that at 11 o'clock we want you out. Those are the rules. Those are our park rules in every park through the city. You can't camp in there. So we followed that rule to the letter that night. That's simple. Go ahead.
I've heard that at a certain point that the protesters in Dewey Square as well will be removed. Moving forward, from your perspective, assuming this protest stay peaceful, what can be done that will allow this organic democratic movement to continue to exist in Boston?
It's not being moved. There's no decision to move it at all.
On the 15th
Excuse me?
of October, they're not coming in.
No.
Excellent.
So, all right. Now, where did you get that information? I'm telling you, it's not
That's
true.
fine,
So,
but it's not true.
no, I'm being honest. Like, I'll tell you guys right now, a lot of misinformation goes out there, and I'll tell you right now, you go down to Dewey Square, and I'll challenge anybody to walk down with me any day this week and see how the people treat us. We get along great with everybody. We talk to people. We may not agree on everything about brutality, your opinion or my opinion, but we talk to people. We care about their thoughts, everybody collectively. And nothing's going to be 100%. Thank us for the jobs that we're doing. So if you want to get on, come on down and you'll see it. And we can walk, you can talk to people, and out from old to young. So that's what we're seeing down there. Can we make everybody happy? No, it's impossible. So go ahead.
So piggybacking on that question, since you deal with legal things, what do you feel is a productive step that we can take as Occupy Boston in a legal way that isn't violating?
I think what people are doing now. You have a right to voice your opinion. This is America. We're going to respect that. We're not going to get on any side of whether that debate is right or wrong. We're just here public safety so cars can drive down, people can get to work. If you're permitted to stay there, they allow it, then fine. We're going to respect that. And right now, they're not being moved as the 15th. I was told that permit, that people originally abstained, said, oh, we don't want it. And the mayor said, we have no intention of moving them. They're fine. Well, I don't want to get into policy debates, but.
So it wasn't ever established that they were going to?
No, there was always, hey, look, there's a permanent event coming here, the 15th. So we always told people like weeks ago, and from now that event is not going to happen. So Occupy Boston, is staying there. Go ahead, young lady.
As this movement is growing and getting bigger and more participants, more followers, there's a lot of health and safety concerns about staying in the one area at Dewey Square. So where can they move to?
That's not a decision I can make right now or give you an answer to. We'll have to just wait and see how big it grows. If they outgrow that space, if the mayor will say, you know what, we'll give you another space. Or he may say not. Or the state may say, we'll give you a space or not. Or a private entity may say, we'll give you a space or not. I can't answer that question. I wish I could. All I know is that we were going to respect people's rights to be down there, but everybody's rights. And people are peaceful. We only respond to what certain people do. If you're going to block the intersection and sit down, could you please move? Stop traffic. Could you please move? We ask multiple times. And then we have to read our unlawful assembly speech about, 269(1) of the Mass General Laws about unlawful assembly, blocking traffic, public safety standard. We'll have to ask people to move. And if they don't, then we'd have to place them under arrest. But that's our last thing. I've told everybody down there at Occupy Boston, our goal is not to arrest people. It's not. Our goal is to keep the peace. And that's it. Public safety. So go ahead, my friend. Then we'll go around.
You mentioned police brutality is a point of perspective. Fine, that's a long debate. We probably can't have it now.
Well, that minutia detail of that. I mean, honestly, we see someone beating an unarmed man like Rodney King, of course. We know police brutality when we see it. Some of the minutia points, what he was saying, he heard a guy with a cut in his hand. I can tell you how that guy got his cut in the hand. It was from cutting off the the flex.
Alright, but my question, moving from that, is what was the function or purpose of destroying the medical equipment that you guys confiscated from the second campaign?
I know nothing about any medical equipment confiscated.
90% of our medical, or the medical equipment there was
Yeah,
destroyed.
honestly, I don't have the answer to that. I don't know. I know the tents were rolled up and it was put to the side and no one claimed them and they threw it away. I know anything about medical supplies. And we have Boston EMS surrounding that whole park that provides water, any kind of medical care you want. There's a fire station right across. I just left, there's 2 ambulances down there. So if anybody needs any medical care, Boston is the best medical care you're gonna get. Boston EMS or Boston Area Hospitals. So I know nothing about like, can't answer that, my friend. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have 3 questions. You said that.
There's a lot of people that have questions. Can you just make it down to 4?
I mean, they're fast, but they're really
Okay.
important. So, first you said that if people feel brutalized, then they should report to internal affairs.
Yep.
How do you suggest people do that when you have officers out there in uniform without badges? Second, I heard that legal observers and medics were being targeted in the park
No,
that
that's
night.
not true.
I mean,
I'll
okay,
answer
no,
that. I'll answer you.
But to respond directly to that,
Yep.
the executive director of the National Lawyers Guild was arrested that night. I mean, I just don't see how that could happen, how somebody so knowledgeable about their rights and about what they can and cannot do gets arrested second in the night. And third was my third question.
Is that a statement or a question?
That was a direct response. That wasn't part of my 3.
Okay.
My 3 were the badge thing, why people were being targeted, and then my third one. I mean, if you want to address the badge thing,
Well, I'll tell you,
go back to my third one.
my badge, I'm a deputy superintendent. I don't have a badge number. It's an appointed position. I go by my ID number. All the officers from captain down have badge numbers. When some of the officers are in our tactical gear, they don't have badges because it could hurt them, you know, in movement. So they have ID numbers.
I mean, but what about the uniform, like what you're wearing? where
They
there's
have
something
their
for your
badges.
badge?
No, they have
That's
badge
not
numbers. You want me to tell you? Go up to any police officer you see walking. If he has a badge like this, you'll see a number on it.
If it's an embroidered one, then.
Embroidered one, that's in the, on the other side, it should have his ID number, which is just, it's probably more important than a badge. You're talking about the gentlemen and ladies in tactical gear, right?
No, like what you're wearing right now.
They shouldn't have embroidery. I don't, I can't answer that because it doesn't, it shouldn't exist unless they're on a bicycle officer or something like that. I don't have the answer to that. It doesn't make, we don't have that. If you, I don't have the answer, no. So, your other question about the National Lawyers Guild being arrested?
Yes.
All right, we're clearing out a park, right? You're a police officer, right? You ask everybody if you give them a warning, then you give them another warning, then you give them another warning, and you give them so much reasonable amount of time to clear the park, and they refuse to clear. And they are the National Lawyers Guild with the high vis green, yellow hat on. They refuse to leave, and they actually get in the way of officers trying to do their job.
So basically, you don't want the National Lawyers Guild there.
I do. That was just one individual. Just, you know, you got to think about it. Not everybody's right all the time. All the lawyers, the National Lawyers Guild, those people with the high vis vest, all of them, I mean hats, all of them over there. And only one was arrested, right? How many do you think were there?
But I know.
There's probably a good 15 there, right? So we arrested 1 out of 15. Do you think that the one person didn't move or adhere to the police commands when they were asked them multiple times?
I mean.
That's what was told to me. So.
At the same time, I don't see why that person would be selected to be arrested.
They weren't selected. No one was selected. The only people who arrested were the people who refused to leave the park that night after multiple commands. And don't forget, we have everything on video too. We have multiple video cameras going because we want to show our side of the story and the perspective, the overall perspective, other than people just with their phones and everything like that. So good, we'll keep moving on. I'm sorry, I can't answer everything fully 200%, and I'm just sorry about that.
Since there are some stories, and I've heard them personally, of ill treatment swirling around, can you outline some of the internal mechanisms that you have to keep individual officers from trespassing on human rights?
We have supervisors there. Every 4 or 5 officers has a sergeant with them. We have lieutenants, captains, and deputy superintendents like myself, and the superintendent. So strong supervision, number 1. Training, strong professionalism, making sure their officers know the rules and know the road. Before that night, every officer was given a mission statement how to treat people. Treat people like how you want to be treated. Treat people with respect and dignity. That's what we give out every time we do a special event or we do marches. We want to make sure people. It doesn't make sense for us to mistreat people. We know the eyes of the world around us, and that's not how we're trained. Our job is to help people. We don't want to mistreat them. I know that may sound like just fluff to you guys, but that's how we believe. We became policemen and policewomen to help people. That's why we have video, because so many people say a lot of things. So we bring our crime scene unit down there to video as well. So if there's any video out there of people claiming brutality, bring it forth and we'll investigate it.
And
That's what we have internal affairs for.
What people should be looking for if they feel like their human rights were trespassed with it, the ID number, I'm not familiar with that.
If they have a badge like this, silver or gold, it should have a number right here. If they're in tactical gear or a bike gear, it should have an ID number embroidered on the other side, 10532.
If they don't, we don't have to.
I'd ask a sergeant, if you feel that officer was, ask her for his ID number. By rules and regulations, we have to tell you our ID number, our name and rank.
And who do we contact? With this?
Internal affairs. Right, call police headquarters and ask for internal affairs and make your complaint.
So you've said that there have been you've dispelled some rumors and
We're going to probably be more by the time I leave here tonight.
right. Well, and therein lies my question. How do we short of asking you to come back every 4 days to talk to us, how do we go about dispelling those rumors? How can we
go down there and use your own eyes, your own observation techniques. Go down and see for yourself.
No, I mean not just stuff like the brutality things, but even something like this rumor of us getting broken up on October 15th.
Yeah.
How can we dispel those rumors?
Call us at police headquarters. Call our media relations. Call the police commissioner's office. We'll answer. I was told you guys may want to march. A lot of student groups around the city may want to march. You're entitled to do that. We're not going to get in your way. We protect your rights to do that. We just hopefully do it peacefully. That's simple. I mean, just call and ask us. You can call. You can ask me. I'll give you my office number. We're here to help you guys too. I know some of you may not think that, and you may think we're your enemy by some of the looks, some verbal, non-verbal. You may think we're the police. We're the enemy. We're not. We're here to serve you guys and gals too. We're here to make life better for you. We care about the city. We care how we're viewed. We care how you are treated. I can't be more honest and more succinct than that. So just ask us. I can't come back every 4 days. I'm sorry. There's a lot of other things we do in the city besides. This is one thing that's kind of taxing our department too. All these marches, personnel. We have a lot of other issues going on throughout the city. Houses get broken, cars get broken into. We just had 2 young men shot in 2 different parts of the city. So it taxes us a lot to block off streets so people can march. So just think of that too. There's all the perspectives that other residents of the city may agree with your message or the message of Occupy Boston, or may agree with the message of down with certain banks. We have a duty to protect them for all the other issues that happen as well. All right, down this road. Go ahead, Brad.
So one of the things that I've noticed is that it seems like because Occupy Boston is very democratic, because it's very open and everyone's talking to everyone. One concern that I've seen is that people will ask questions and get answers that aren't necessarily true. They'll ask, like, it seems that the people asked in the Rose Kennedy Greenway, the caretakers and not the owners, and the caretakers gave an answer that they weren't able to give. That's what I tried to look into it, and that's the best as I can figure what happened. How does the group make sure that doesn't happen, that they get clear answers so that when there are questions that come up, they're clear answers and they can make their democratic decisions based on.
I know the Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy people who run it are down there a lot. I spoke to them the other day. The days are all into me because I'm down there every day for a couple hours with different issues. They're down there a lot. And one of the big concerns they have was some of the homelessness down there. A lot of our regular homeless people were starting to come in the camp, and I know that was an issue because they may have alcohol or substance abuse problems, or they're going down there because of free food, shelter, clothing. And there were some issues with some of them. The Conservancy, had dealt with them prior to Occupy Boston on the land as well, and wanted to move them along because they don't want them camping out overnight there as well. So I would ask them. I would go on the website, look for their names, call them, have your leaders ask them. But they're down there. You see them with the dark green shirts. It says Rose Kennedy Conservancy Greenway. And if you see someone who maintains the Conservancy Greenway, ask them for their bosses to come down and maybe address the group. Now, I spoke to the executive director a few times, and they said they had spoken to people who occupy Boston, who, I don't want to say the name, I don't know the names of the people they spoke to, but they told us their view of what was allowed and what wasn't allowed. So I would just say ask them, because that's the best I can give for you right there. What, my friend?
There were reports throughout the night, and these could be Twitter rumors, but there were reports that media were banned from the area during the arrest A, is that true? And B, if so, why?
A, it's not true. B, they were right there. They were right at Congress. And matter of fact, we had to ask them to get off the police lines because when the officers were moving in, the media were right behind them, filming over their shoulders, and we asked them to please step back, get back on the sidewalk. There's probably 8 or 9 media trucks down there. There's probably another 10 down there tonight. Actually, National CBS News was there as well tonight. So there's media there all the time. There's print, there's the Herald, the Globe, you name it. Everyone's got a camera. So that's not true. They're there. Sometimes we ask them to step back a lot too because they're so on top of us. It's like you can't even have a private conversation. Like, I'm gonna go get a coffee break and they're airing it. You know what I mean? Little things like that.
So you keep coming back to saying, find out for yourself and don't believe rumors and try to find facts.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm glad you said that.
Right. So my question, why is it that you guys seem to be repeating over and over this idea of this wasn't the movement's choice to go to the next part of the Greenway, but it was a small group because it's causing those who are trying to get facts out a lot of extra work because that is a rumor. But every police officer up and down the line from mayor down to you and everyone else repeats it over and over and over instead of looking.
Because that's what we were told. And that's what we were told. The Conservancy, I personally spoke to a couple different times. They did not want, and we had spoke to many people in the group, quote-unquote group leaders, or people that would come and approach us and talk to us. Well, I mean, there is no leader because, it's a democratic thing. And you guys, I was invited to come to the meeting Monday night as well. I just didn't feel like, I don't want people to think I was spying on them. I'm just a police officer trying to do our job. I didn't want you to think I was trying to invade the group's, democratic right to talk. So I just stepped back, even though I was invited. Whoever approaches and talks to us, we tell them our views about public safety.
Right, I'm just asking the question that I asked.
Yeah, that's what we got from the Conservancy, the people we've talked to that approached us.
So we should be talking to them and telling them.
You can talk to us too, ask us too, like we're doing now.
That's false. So that's
Excuse me?
I'm saying that's a rumor, so that's me talking to you. But from going forward, we'll talk to the Conservancy.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of people have come up and they've stood next to me and they're talking like, I can't be seen talking to you. I'm like, all right, we're here. Whoever wants to come talk to us and ask us. We talk out of our media relations. We have Facebook. We have a Twitter account. We tweet all that stuff.
Right,
we have. Excuse me.
Yeah, because you guys tweeted a warning before you told anyone, which is not very cool.
Well, we tried everything humanly possible.
Yeah, no, thank you.
We leafleted people who don't have electronic cell phones, etc. We went down and told people. So you just proved my point that we've tried everything under the sun to warn people that they shouldn't have been in the park that night. But going here on forward, if anyone has any questions, ask the officers there. Ask us. We'll talk to everybody. People from every walk of life come out. From veterans, just talking to them now, to union people. We talk to everybody. Because we're here to help. And it may sound crazy, but I don't know what else to tell you. We're trying to make this as peaceful as possible.
There's a question over there that was related.
What was the question?
My question was the same as Bruce, so don't answer.
Yeah. But my friend.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, I hope this doesn't sound too sassy, but who said that it was a bunch of anarchists that hijacked the process?
That's what I meant by that.
I don't know. Out of a group of people, there's always a few kids that call themselves, people call them quote-unquote anarchists. The black and red flag, all that stuff, the mask up. There's always going to be people, and I'm not going to say it's them, the people that want to see a little bit more, maybe civil disobedience. We understand that. In this large group of 350 people, there's always going to be a few people that can do that, that want to do that. And our goal is not to arrest people, but if we have to, we will. That's simple. We ask you to move off the place and repeatedly ask, we'll arrest 1,000 if we have to. We don't want to because it's taxing the system. It's taxing the courts, taxing the offices, taxing every police station. We don't want to arrest anybody. But if we are left with no other recourse, then we will. And that's not our decision, it's the group's decision. For the actions they did. They refused to obey a lawful command to move. That's it in a nutshell.
I have time for one quick question.
Sure.
You just mentioned civil disobedience, so I'd like to ask you, Mayor Menino has been quoted as saying it has no place in Boston. How do you feel about that?
I don't have an opinion on it right now. I can't.
It directly involves you as an officer.
Well, we don't want civil disobedience, because it makes us have to make arrests, because people I'll give it a perfect example. A week ago Friday, I said the days I'm opening, a group of people had a march downtown, and they wanted to go by the Bank of America. And we always say to people, the group leaders of, you name it, United Justice for Peace, anti-war march groups, whoever it may be, say, we have some people that want to be arrested. We're letting you know how many you want to arrest. We don't negotiate how many we're going to arrest. We don't do that. If people, so basically, went to the Bank of America end of the march, 8 here, 5 there, and another 5 or 10 on the other side. It ended up being like 24 people, blocked all the entrances to the Bank of America, so people couldn't get in and out. Bank security came up and asked them to leave. They trespassed. They told, we asked them, and the video camera's right there with us, and I had the group leaders negotiating with us. So we don't want to arrest them because they're going to have to arrest us. We want to be arrested. This is our civil disobedience. We're doing. I said, okay. And a lot of them were women, so we walked up to, and I did a person, so they were held down, so I said, can you please stand up? We're going to have to arrest you now. And they all stood up, and we just put the cuffs on and walked along. We did it like an assembly line. Manager, I'll turn now, you ready to stand up? And you okay? Okay, yep. Stood them up. It was great. For us, it was easy because we didn't have to take one officer per limb. You get this arm, you get this arm, you get this leg, you get this leg. We hurt our backs, we hurt our legs. It's not fun lifting people. So that's what happened that night. 24, that's civil disobedience. They were against the Bank of America.
Right, I mean, I only bring this up because civil disobedience as a tactic, means the people going into it understand they will be arrested. I just wanted to ask you because if there's that mutual understanding, it'll prevent further controversies over police.
No, that was helpful to us. We don't want to arrest anybody. We'd rather not do it, please, because it taxes our system as well. We have to take someone in the police wagon, we have to take them to the booking desk, we have to fingerprint them, we have to photograph them, all the whole conditions of bail and just police reports. It takes officers off the street.
No, I just meant in terms of preventing police brutality. If it's civil disobedience, I would hope you guys approach it
definitely
knowing what it is.
Yeah, we exactly, and that's why we talk to those leaders. So we'd rather not. They're like, you are. I said, okay, well, if we have no other choice, we are making that choice. What you're saying, you want to be arrested, and that's how it worked. But we don't like they are. We'll out of the group of 300, we'll take 25, and that's that. That's not how we roll. We don't want to do it that way. I know you have another question. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Please be nice to me.
I remembered my third question. Before you said that the protesters wanted to block off the bridge. How do you know that's true when the cops had the bridge blocked off before the protest got there?
Intelligence.
That
Is that?
sounds pretty nice.
Well, we don't go on Twitter account or Facebook, or we're not, hey, you talk, let's take the bridge. Simple as that. I mean, we advise it is, and we know the union officials want to do certain things like that. Our job is to prevent crime and prevent disruptions, and that's simple. People saying, we're going to take the bridge, and we hear it, and we're not stupid men and women. We're smart. We're well educated. We know how to do certain things, and we know if you're going to go to some certain place in the city, what is the target? What would you like to disrupt? So,
But more or less the protests have been peaceful, so do you think that there's a possibility that the majority of people were just there to march across the bridge?
of course that's possible. Of course. I can't tell what you're going to do when you leave here, or what you're going to do. I'm not in your head. Nor do I want to be. Anybody, I just don't know what. So I don't have the answer. None will have the answer. We just don't know. We just try to prevent stuff and be ahead of the curve. And we're never going to guess right every time. And people sure are going to go get locked themselves in arms and protest a certain venue. And yes, we will have to arrest them. That's not our goal, but if we have to, we have to. It is what it is. Go ahead.
So on Monday at the bridge, there was a group of us and we approached some officers on the
So you're on the bridge too?
Not on the bridge, but
So you said a group of us were on the bridge. See, she just admitted she was on the bridge.
at the
I'm
bridge.
just being a wise guy.
At the bridge, and we approached a couple officers kind of on the side just to ask them why the bridge was blocked off, just so we could get some answers. And they kind of played dumb with us. They were kind of, oh, well, we don't know. Like, we couldn't really tell you. Comments from higher up. Like, they don't tell us these things. And it kind of seemed like they just didn't really want to talk to us. Is there a reason why they can't be straightforward and transparent with us, or like we were just trying to have like an open dialogue about the situation?
I don't have the answer for that. Maybe just human nature. They didn't want to tell you. They were told not to tell you, or they were just told to block the bridge. I wasn't there that day. maybe they just told to block the bridge, we don't want people shutting the bridge down and let anyone pass this group, this march. Maybe as simple as that. Maybe just the officers didn't want to say it. But probably they would just block it. But I always ask someone in command if you see like someone with sergeant stripes or a lieutenant or a captain or a deputy, who you think is in command with the scrambled eggs on the hat, because I'm gonna be honest with you. Life's too short. Honestly, I don't have time to lie to you guys. It's my perspective. Whether you believe it or not. That's simple. Go ahead.
So they didn't give any warning to the police officers who blocked off the bridge?
Oh, the commander told them to block the bridge.
Right, but they didn't give them warning that there was going to be protests coming towards the bridge, so there was no communication with them.
We didn't know they were going to block the bridge till like the 10th hour. A plan to
Okay,
block.
So it was just spontaneous. So
Spontaneous,
people there
yes.
Didn't know. There was no communication at all in the.
Sometimes with some of the groups, people don't want to tell us anything. Like at the front, I always say, "Where do you guys know? Where are you going? Let me get a couple cycles up to block this intersection."
So they don't tell.
Sometimes they don't. People don't. Sometimes people do. Sometimes they'll look at the smirk at me and we'll say, "All right, can you go? We got to block this way," and they'll go the other way. It happens. Just like that officer didn't want to tell you or didn't tell you. Sometimes people who are doing marches don't want to give us the time of day either. That's all I do. I'm going to go the opposite way you think I'm going. For whatever reason. Do you understand that? People would do that?
That who would do that?
That someone would not want to tell an officer which way they're going to go to?
Yeah.
I think we could understand that.
That's all. But
I have a question that actually doesn't have to do with Occupy Boston. I was wondering if anyone else had any questions for Occupy Boston, so I don't take up time.
can I ask a few questions about Occupy Boston?
Yeah.
But may I ask them?
Sure, you ask first and I want to ask them, but I have 15 questions. You're not able to answer every one. I'm only a kid.
Alright, I'm sorry to diverge, but earlier you mentioned, I'd just like to get cops' perspective on this. Earlier you mentioned serious crime and you said drug dealing when you were listing them, and I was wondering if you thought it might be a waste of your time and efforts and taxpayers' money to arrest or to convict people for nonviolent drug crimes, and what you thought about if drugs were legalized, it would rid America of black market drug selling and drug
I think there'd
possession.
always be some black market to it.
Well, okay, yes, there will be, but I think, do you think it would be greatly decreased if drugs were legalized? And also, do you think it is worth your time and taxpayers' money to arrest people for using drugs if they're not hurting anybody?
Well, marijuana's been decriminalized. People in the state of Massachusetts voted to do that.
Okay, I'm talking about all drugs though.
I think I'll tell you, this will answer your question. I don't think so right now, from my perspective. Every bank robbery we have in the city, right, is committed by guess who? And I'm talking practically every one. Someone addicted to drugs. Percocets, oxycodone, heroin, right? Those are legal drugs, but you have to get them a prescription.
I understand that because there's no regulation. If they were legalized, it would...
They are legalized, you need a prescription to get them. And people abuse, just like alcohol. Alcohol is legal, we can have that argument too. But I just think that's a slippery slope. And it's, I see so much broken families and so much hurt caused by...
Which is created by the drug war.
Yeah. That's another thing.
Sorry.
That's another
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
To Occupy Boston.
Right, are you correlating the homelessness, like the homeless people there with drugs?
No, not at all. I just said homeless people are showing up at that gate too.
This is random, I'm sorry.
Let's
I'm just,
stay focused on
We've asked our
Occupy
questions.
Boston.
We'd like to hear yours.
Well, how much longer are you guys gonna stay there? I'm kinda getting tired.
I can stay on that.
I want to hear all.
I'm
leaving at 7 p.m., just to let you know.
No, I'm talking about Occupy Boston.
Oh, okay.
It'll be interesting what happens in winter.
It will be. It's gonna winters around here get cold. So.
It's only growing.
Bring our space heaters.
Wait, can you ask
You know what, that's something we're concerned
How
about,
long does
honestly.
Occupy
Honestly,
plan on staying?
Fires,
Because of
yeah.
fires,
Yes.
it's warm down there now, and it's not that frigid winter we get, and they've given you electricity to hook up the state, but the space heater stuff scares me. I would hate to respond down there and a couple people burnt to death in a tent. So that's something that worries us that we may not allow in there, to be honest with you.
I remember hearing about the fire that happened in Worcester about, what was like 7 years ago, in someone's basement. That it was a space heater, and I know that's obviously a main concern. What about, like, battery powered stuff? Like, is that the same?
I'm not sure that, that's an answer for the fire department, to be quite frank. They'd have to make that decision. That's their expertise. It worries me. That stuff worries me. I know it's got crowded down there. All I can say when you're down there, and I know a lot of you are down there because I recognize your faces. Just kidding. Just come up and approach us, talk to us, ask us questions. We'll tell you what we think. And I'll tell you something, nothing's going on. I don't know. You guys marching today? What are you guys plans on doing? What's the issue today?
I just have a question for you. I don't know if you maybe addressed this at some point and I wasn't paying attention, but
I saw you tweeted a lot.
yeah, well, I wasn't tweeting. I was getting an update on the arrests.
So what's how many arrests?
I don't know.
Let
Anyway.
me look at my BlackBerry. I'll tell you if I can.
Okay, I was just wondering what you guys advise as far as it's a health and safety violation right now with the number of people, like you're saying, it's kind of crowded. So
It is crowded.
what do you suggest as far as more and more people are coming every day, especially after Monday night?
Well, you know what happens? A lot of people come.
But I mean with tents. A lot of people have been coming with tents and they don't have room. So I'm curious what you
Yeah,
guys
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
It's not my decision. You know what? All I know is a lot of people come, a lot of people leave.
I was just asking you personally,
Yeah.
what you think is a good spot to expand to.
Outside the city.
Yeah.
Plenty of space out there.
There's a lot of space.
You said the other day.
Atlanta.
They'll be doing that there.
To answer your first question about like how long we would say that.
One under arrest at 30 federal. One person is arrested.
They're stepping off the sidewalk, though. That's what it said on Twitter.
Perspective. You really think we'd waste our time by arresting someone?
That's
Honestly,
actually
just stepping off the sidewalk.
I hope not.
Honestly,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, I would be like saying, why would you do that? Honestly, just think of that. Because why?
Like,
No. Just you're buying into that hype. That's just not the way we think. I would be upset if our officer arrested someone for stepping off a sidewalk. What is the violation? Why would you do that? Why would you waste our time? Or waste your time getting off the street? We need you on the street. See, exactly. That's why I don't believe that.
I'm
So keep it civil. Are there any more questions that you have for us?
No, I was just being. You know what?
No, we're open to questions.
No, honestly,
We want to encourage a dialogue.
well,
Yeah.
we get down
That's
there.
why we're here.
Honestly, I have no problem with the students or anybody. We, the police department, don't. Come down, just behave, and we're not the bad guys. We're just we're cops trying to do the right thing for everybody. We're not your enemy. That's all I can say. It's that simple. And a lot of people have gotten that message. If you're arrested, I understand. If you're doing your civil disobedience and you want to be arrested, you're not going to like us because you felt as though the flex touched you a little too tight, or you didn't like how we looked at you, or how we talked to you, or how we carried you over to the wagon.
No, you guys were nice today.
Were you arrested?
Yeah. I had a great time. I was here cracking jokes. I mean, your cells are really cold, and I really think that's a
Your
horrible
cells are
thing.
disgusting.
And like, it's
See?
potentially uncomfortable.
You recording that? That's perspective.
I didn't have that. Some officers were a little bit rough, but others were just like going about their morning
We're
drinking
trying to.
coffee,
We have a lot of
smiling
things
and
to do.
laughing.
There's a lot of calls to be answered.
Yeah.
Occupy Boston is one segment of what we do in downtown. This is a big city. 1.2 million people in the city of Boston every day. You have 630,000 people who sleep here and live here at night, not even including the 100,000 college students. So if you want to talk about college students, what you guys have caused us the last couple of months, the beginning of school year down at the Gap, all the parties, the drinking, the complaints, the car fires. All right, now we're going to shut the door. I'm only kidding. No, we put a lot of resources down there trying to get kids not to walk around drinking open containers of alcohol, not disturbing neighbors, little things like that. So that's an issue for this police district out here. There's a lot of things we have to deal with, and our goal is to respect everyone's rights. You have a right to your opinion, a right to argue your opinion, a right to say your opinion. You just want to be respectful of everyone else's rights and opinions to walk in the city and drive down the street, because it's not shared by everybody. And you're welcome. I know you guys are planning, all the colleges planning on marching Saturday. Tell us what route you got to take so we can block it off so you don't get hit by a car. That's probably not.
Yeah, the people in the group don't want us to play
See,
anything.
that's what we run into. It's
Because you're just part of the power structure, right? I mean, you're just trying to like, screw and oppress and all that, right?
I don't want you to get hit by a car. Because you know who's going to call your mom and dad and knock on the door and say, little Johnny got hit by a car, I'm sorry for your loss. How can we help you?
Of course.
That's why. That's simple. You know?
I was kidding.
I asked you
You
this.
want me to take the camera, turn it around for you so you can answer?
No, they don't need to see what I look like. That's fine. I asked you this not as a police officer or a superintendent, but simply as a guy from Boston. Do you think the current levels of inequality in this country are legitimate, and do you think we should do something about it?
Well, that's a loaded question. It all depends on perspective. Some people feel they are.
No. I'm asking you as a human being.
Give us your perspective.
I don't even want to answer that right now. When I take my badge and gun off, and I sit in my pair of jeans and a t-shirt, I'm having a pint of beer with you, we'll wrap. Straight up.
All right.
That's
Look
it.
forward to that.
All right.
In his uniform, he's not allowed to give political statements. That's part of his job description.
Yeah, we try not to. You know, common sense stuff.
Can't fault me for trying. Come on.
So that's it. I've been going since 6 this morning. I'm getting out of here.
We have time for one more question.
I want to go play some hockey tonight.
Can we talk?
Okay.
You had a question?
We're good, thank you.
You know, I know a lot of you guys were there because you told me you were there. And just understand that we're not trying to harm you. We're trying to help you. We're trying to be an asset for you. Honestly, we're not your enemies. Please don't think that way. You guys are young. You're smart. You're our future. Help us help you. You know, I was thinking we're being mean here. We're not. We're just asking. We're doing certain things for your own protection. You just may not realize it at the time. I sat in these classrooms 15, 20 years ago myself. So I know what time it is. You guys don't know that because I know what's going on. It's a little street lingo for more people. Anyways, that's it.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Thank you for coming.
You got my number, any questions, you can have people give me a call. You know, my office number at police headquarters is 617-343-4300. That's called the Bureau of Field Services. It's the head of the patrol division. I work out of there. Our office people are there. We'll talk, and if there's a question on Twitter, I don't even have a Facebook account.
What's that?
617-343-4300. And we'll try to answer your questions. You're not mad at me, are you?
Is that your direct? Is that
You're not giving me daggers, right?
secretary?
Who are you looking at me?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
All right, just want to make sure.
Oh,
All right?
that was a power play right there.
Thank you so much for being a part of this discussion.
All right, we're trying to help you.
Thank
What do
you
you say?
for
She embarrassed.
keeping us safe
Yeah.
while we march.
Any questions asked? There's nothing worse than misinformation. People act on it all the time. They think it's gospel. We fought wars over this countless centuries because of misinformation. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Activist potluck, 7 o'clock.
And then
Women's
Right now, so.
She's got something to say.
Couple now. Go ahead.
Hey, that just brings me up like really quick. I'm all for humor and levity and like that's great, but can we not like dish those very valid concerns that other people have just because they're not in this meeting? I really don't feel okay about that. Like the diversity of tactics statement says no denouncing them to the media, and I know that he's not media, but like it is outside of the group. I think
I've just gotten some really bad arguments the past few nights where I've heard some really bad logic, some really impassioned,
I don't think you
rude
point out anyone, right?
arguments. And like just people that have been so rude to police that essentially denounce their humanity and say that across the board, without exception, these people are just evil, and that just pisses me off so much. And I'm sorry, I do understand that I shouldn't be like ragging on others. I understand, but like some just individuals, I just had some really rough, like angering conversations.
And I understand that, and I'm sorry that that's been an experience you've had, but like if you guys remember the diversity of tactics statement that was ratified at GA, we agreed we were going to keep internal disputes internal. They don't need to go to him.
All right.
Thank you
Sorry,
guys.
but this is Democracy Matters as well too. I mean,
Yeah.
I know what you mean. But this is like.
Right, no, I know.
So, thank you guys so much for coming. You guys can continue these conversations over at the Women's Resource Center with the Actors Potluck.
Oh, and we meet here every week at 6.
Yes.
If you guys.
If you want to be on the email list, we will have a sign-up sheet at
Thursday at 6 here.